If you've been in college or trade school for any of the last 3 years, the government could owe you $7,500. Let's investigate why. Now, if you have been in college or trade school for any of the last 3 years, then I'm gonna show you how to save at least $1,000 in taxes and maybe as much as $2,500 in taxes, depending on your situation. We're gonna do this using something called the American Opportunity Tax Credit. All right, you guys, make sure you stay until the end, because if you've messed up any of your last 3 tax returns, you can actually go back and fix them and still get money back from the government. And I'm gonna show you how to do that, but you need to understand a few concepts first. So let's get into those. As always, please subscribe so that you can get more tax saving tips in the future. And as always, remember to consult a tax professional about your specific situation. So what is the American Opportunity Tax Credit? Well, it's pretty straightforward. College is expensive and the government is giving you a tax break for going to college or trade school. So ultimately, your biggest question is gonna be, dude, how can I get this money? Well, there's a few qualifications. Let's go through the list. 1, you must be pursuing a degree or other recognized educational credential. 2, you must be enrolled at least half-time in an academic period during the tax year. Number 3, you cannot have finished the first 4 years of higher education at the beginning of the year. Number 4, you cannot have claimed the AOTC more than 4 times. So if you've claimed this credit 4 times already, you're not allowed to take this credit. Number 5, you cannot have a felony drug conviction at the end of the year. And yes, that absolutely is one of the questions on the form. And then 6, you have to claim yourself on your tax return. If your parents are claiming you as a dependent, you can't take this credit, your parents can take the credit. Ultimately, if you are at school or at trade school and you've got expenses related to going to those things, then you can claim this credit. So let's look at how the specifics of the calculation work. First thing you need to know is that the max credit is $2,500 per student per year. You get 100% of your first $2,000 of expenses, and then you get 25% of your next $2,000 in expenses. You multiply those and you get $2,000 here, $500 here, for a total of $2,500. So what counts as qualified? So we got tuition, we've got equipment. So equipment is a good one for people who are going to like trade school, which is great because normally tuition for something like trade school is a lot cheaper and a lot of times won't meet that $4,000 threshold. And we've also got books. So those are the big ones. And remember, you always have to subtract scholarships. So the goal is to have more expenses than we have scholarships in order to get this tax credit. Now, the big thing is what counts as a non-qualified expense? Well, really the 2 big ones are room and board. Okay, so basically you're not gonna get a qualified education expense for paying rent or for feeding yourself. What's even more amazing is that $1,000 of this credit is actually called a refundable credit, which means even if you wouldn't have to pay any tax, so let's say for example you didn't work at all, you can actually still go file this tax return and still get $1,000 back from the government because you have a refundable credit. Now, the moment you've all been waiting for, this is where we're gonna go back and look at your last 3 tax returns and see if you've messed this up. Now, if you have messed this up, then you can do what is called an amended tax return. So you want to get out your previous 3 tax returns. Now, if you open up your form 1040, which looks like this, and go to page 2, line 29, there's a line that states American Opportunity Credit from form 8863. If you claimed yourself, and this line is empty, and you had some school expenses in that year, then you missed the credit. By amending or correcting your tax return with the IRS, you have the ability to gain at least $1,000 back from the government and potentially get as much as $2,500 back per year, depending on how much money you earn that year. If you fix every single one of those tax returns, you can get up to $7,500 back from the government, $2,500 for every single year. That is so much money, especially when you're going through college. That's money that you absolutely want to have in your pocket. And this is an easy method to get that money back in your pocket. If you are in this boat, just go get a tax accountant and explain your situation to them, have them review your returns, and they'll tell you whether or not you qualify for sure. Now, if you've got kids in daycare or you know somebody who's got kids in daycare, please go watch this awesome video right here. This video just shows you how if you've got kids who are in daycare or being nannied or kids who are going to preschool and you work, how you can save as much as $2,100 in taxes. Super easy money in your pockets. So please go ahead and click that. And thanks you guys, have a great one.